Mazolman doesn't have a very good reputation in the community where he comes from. Okay. Actually, his peers who call him Mazolman have always said to me, we don't see why you should even be arguing with that fool because he's not worth it. Like, we don't know how he found his way to where he is because he can just point at a house or a car or a farm and says, this is my farm. That, those kind of people, unprovoked, they just lie without being provoked. So I'm not being harsh on him. He has no organizational culture. He has got no meeting culture. He knows nothing about discipline. I don't think he even did the debate at school. No, I don't think, because you must listen to him as he speaks. He's not the kind that inspires you to want to listen more. I'm just, disagreeing with him on how he wants to deal with certain things. He has no meeting etiquettes. Even when you agree with him, I mean, the point that he's fighting me about now, I agree with him. I say to him, put a name of a judge who's corrupt and tell us why you say so. Once you win us over, I'm going to support you. I'm one person who's not scared. He says, no, you're scared now. That's why I said to him, you must go and ask your father in Nkandla if I'm scared. I made him to go look after cattle now. I said to him, on his face, he's going to look after cattle and he will be watching us on TV when he's at the village. It's happening exactly as I predicted it. So why would I be scared of a judge? But give me facts. Because once you leave the meeting that says the judges are corrupt, it includes me. I'm a member of the JSC, and I know corrupt judges, and I've not raised this matter with the Chief Justice or the Deputy Chief Justice. I'm not being honorable to the committee I serve in, where judges can be disciplined for any misconduct. So I'm not being harsh. I just realize if we leave him to do the things he's doing, it's going to be like we're all like him. We can't allow that. We can't allow the committee to take a wrong direction. When it comes to his wife, I've got no issue with his wife. I think even if she stayed, she was not of any value to the EFF. Whether she was here or she left, she's not of any value. She was never of any value to the EFF. And that's why many people don't make that reference a lot to her leaving the EFF, because in a way it was a good riddance. She didn't bring anything to us.
But you stood by her when she was kicked out as a public protector. The EFF opened doors for her, said, come here, we'll take good care of you, you're a sister, we can fight these battles with you. And she came, and then shortly afterward there was a new party formed, and then she jumped ship.
Well, she came with Dali and Floyd. Okay. They called me a dictator and all of that, but I didn't know her. I never recruited her. I never had a meeting with her. She came with Dali and Floyd. They said there's this person. Floyd was even trying to justify it, which I agreed with. We ought to now start introducing the people with experience in administration of government and all of that. And that's what attracted me to the idea of having her and having Jimmy Manyi. I know his name is Jimmy. Those things he's telling us, he's trying to be relevant. So Jimmy Manyi, I also didn't bring Jimmy. They came with Jimmy and said the same argument, and I agreed with it, and we welcomed her. And she was not appreciative of the effort we have made, and then she decided the way she decided. But even where she is now, she has no peace. There's no peace. She's being troubled. Her province is one of the most troubled, characterized by instability.
So you spoke earlier about how the EFF's work last year sort of made us the official opposition. And your critique of Mazolman, do you make it a broader critique of the MKP as a whole? Because what's happening now, if you check, Mziligas, there's that chaos happening in KZN.
Yes, that's why I wanted to
And,
ask him.
There's criticism that why is the EFF supporting what they are able to criticize as poor in quality in KZN? What do you make of that?
Well, it's very simple. The people of KZN decided they want to be led by fools. So they must have their fools. It's not, I don't decide. We all are of the principle that says the person with the majority must be the one that leads, mayor, premier, and things like that. So they wanted them like that. We get the government we deserve, and that's what the people of KZN deserve. That's what they voted for. To do any other thing against what happened there, it's us being anti-majority. That people have given you direction of which they want to take, and then you decide, no, you're going to give them what you think is right for them. There's no capacity in MK, even in Judge Klope. He has got no politics, none whatsoever. And that's why when he tried to join EFF, I said no. When I was at Judge Klope's farm, we left, me and him, it was just the two of us. He said, no, I thought you brought the form. I said, no, I don't need you to join politics because one, the decision to remove you, I don't agree with it. It's a wrong decision, premised on principles that are not consistent. So it's not for me to take a decision. They took the decision, but I don't agree with it. So I want to plead with you to stay.
And fight your case.
Fight the case, and then we are going to form an AfriForum type of an organization, but for black people. Its responsibility will be to mark the AfriForum. But because you don't have income, we're going to put you on the EFF payroll until we're fully established this thing. Because, look, your legitimacy is so high, not only here in the country, continentally and the diaspora. A lot of people will be ready to sponsor us, to have this kind of an organization, to fight this kind of cases of Helen Suzman, freedom under law, and AfriForum and all of that. So I wanted him to be a Gerinel of some sort, you know. But I think he had pressures of resources and decided to join politics and decided to join a wrong party, which values no education at all, and values no educated people. I don't want to say much about Tony again because he's my friend, so I don't want to cause any problem, but his appointment makes no threat, none whatsoever, to anything. The threat here is Jacob Zuma, and on the basis of tribalism, nothing else. Regionalism, tribalism, the desperation to have an elder amongst us after the passing of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi and Ubaba Goodwill Zwelithini, and some still see the king as a young man so they want someone to look up to, and then some have decided President Zuma is that kind of a person we need. So there are people who still need Shaka Zulu in their life, like they're still looking for Shaka Zulu. And those, you can't do anything about that except to engage in political education, to educate them that these things are not like that. They're way beyond issues of tribes. Because even yourselves, if we're to take this thing and break it down, you're going to realize there is no tribe called Zulus. There were Mtetwas, there were this, there were that, which were conquered, and they had to come together and form this kind of an arrangement. So really, there isn't anything. Some of the people there's a guy, I'm forgetting his name, he's in the ad hoc committee. He's a lawyer by profession. Nomval. Nomval was at our rally in KwaZulu-Natal, in the Moses Mabhida, readily available to join the EFF. So those are the kind of people that you're dealing with who have always envied the EFF leadership and thought they can be the EFF. But there's literally no capacity at all.
So now people will say, but EFF is supporting MKP taking over the KZN government, which is, you explain it, is majority rule. But now, don't you feel that maybe it will be disrupting of what is going, because you said those guys don't have capacity to do anything? Don't you think, are you not supporting people, and as you say, are you not supporting anarchy and chaos?
No, we're going to help them. For the sake of the progress of the people of KZN, we're going to help MK in running KZN. So we cannot allow KZN to degenerate. And the good thing is, unlike MK, there is law in government. You don't just do things there. Things are done in a particular way. And therefore, that is going to help us to run KZN in a manner that is required by the Constitution and the laws of South Africa, because we're not going to govern with Freedom Front Plus and the DA. We are ideologically apart and extremely apart from each other, but their historical role in making us to be what we are, our suffering and pain, is because of those people. And therefore, to still bring them into power and still honor Chris Hani. What do you mean? Because the Freedom Front Plus celebrated the murder of Chris Hani and regarded those who killed Chris Hani as revolutionaries. So what are you saying to Chris? What are you saying to Solomon Mahlangu and all of this? I mean, the people who hanged Solomon, some of them are related to Tony Leon. Tony Leon is the owner, a co-owner of DA. Nothing happens at the DA without him. He's the one who fired Musimaimani. So those are the people you are saying, if we need a good governance, we must govern with the people who once collapsed the economy of South Africa, which they were running on behalf of 15% of the population. The ANC, with all its weaknesses, it has never collapsed to a point where we failed to pay our debts. So what capacity are we talking about? It's just self-hatred that Groenewald has saved so much since he went to correctional service. It's a pure lie. That thing was started by the commissioner. Those things of finitures and all of that, it was the commissioner who brought that stability and said, we cannot talk about correctional service when people are just sitting, eating. Let's train them so that they can live here with certain skills. And I was saying to the commissioner the other day, my problem is that you are training people who killed my father or my mother. You're making them lawyers, you're making them teachers, you're making them carpenters, and all of that. I cannot be a lawyer, I cannot be a carpenter, I cannot be anything, because my father died. He's the one who was paying for all of these things. Yes. So this guy gets rewarded for killing my father. What do you do with me? So there ought to be such programs even for the victims. Yeah. We have no problem with them being trained and coming out with a skill. I know of many who came out with a skill and then they became very perfect. But what about the children of the victims of these people? So the commissioner has been doing very well there. How can you turn around that thing in less than a year? You know how slow government is. They get used to do things in a particular way. To change them, it becomes very difficult. He inherited a functional department which is run by a black brother But they will never tell you that. They now took all of those achievements of a black brother and gave them to...
Tobacco was there.
Yeah, Tobacco has been there long before.
Yes.
They gave him... they now take his achievements and give to the politician. And the typical him, the professional civil servant, is not in competition with politicians. It's like if the minister shines, the department shines. So I don't have to be competing and creating an impression that, no, you're lying. But those who know the truth like us, who must be able to tell that it's a lie. It's not true. It's a lie.
So,
even the KZN number 1 results we're talking about now, is not an achievement of these people. It was systems that were established well long before this provincial government of unity came about.
So talking about the KZN now, let's look at the government of national unity, where you mentioned you lambasted the DA being the EFF, Freedom Plus, and what's your take? Do you think it was a blessing for the EFF not to be part of the NGU?
It was. You know, revolutionaries are not rewarded with money and all kinds of material benefits, are rewarded by standing with their principles. That even when there was an opportunity for political expediency, you refused and stood your grounds and said, I'm not going to be part of this. I mean, you should be ashamed to have a Gayton Mackenzie as a minister with no, a little bit of morality to occupy the kind of office he has occupied. And you must go and sit in that kind of government. They've done us so bad that they're prepared to sleep with criminals, convicted criminals in government, and say, these are ministers. Ministers are a reflection of the kind of society we are. And that's Gayton. Gayton is the one who defines us. He defines us as to who we are. So you must never be desperate for power to a point where you are prepared to kiss frogs because you want power. So we refused. And I think that's what led to some of these disagreements and people leaving the EFF to MK because they thought it was a shortcut to power. I don't believe in shortcuts. So I don't believe in quickie. I believe in longevity. You have to be long. This thing of quickie, and I want you to have a staying power. Yes. So we decided, well, let's play an opposition role. And in municipalities where we're allowed to participate, let's put in our young ones to gather the necessary experience so that when that time comes, at least some amongst us have got an experience of how certain things are done.